Well, this week we're talking to a minister in a different location down at the Isle of Man Douglas railway station, only because we're going to do another item about what's going on here. But we've got so many other things to talk about, and things are coming left, right and centre at you at the moment. Let's talk about the scoreboard first of all at the grandstand. That seems to be, it's going to be demolished, or words going around to that effect.
Yeah, I've had a week of it really. It started off, we're going to demolish Douglas railway station, then we're going to demolish the Castlemona, and now we're going to demolish the scoreboard.
Is there any truth at all?
Well, with Douglas, we said that if we don't do the significant works that need to do, which we have a budget for, and we hope to be able to persuade Tynwald to do, then we would, in the end, if we don't do anything else, we potentially have to look at demolition. So that was a bit of a non-story. As far as the Castlemona is concerned, the department has not received any information about any demolition orders, and we would have to have that information. From my mind, my historical knowledge, the Castlemona is a very historically important building, so I think there'd have to be an extraordinarily strong case put by somebody if they wanted to demolish it. So that's the Castlemona. Then we get onto the scoreboard. What my department is going to do is...
Because you're showing this between you and DED, aren't you?
Yeah. We're going to refurbish the road at some point on Glen Crutchery Road at the start-finish line. Now, it's at the moment programmed in on a sort of a tentative basis for around about 2017. And it may be that we do it a bit sooner, but it's not very likely in the current economic climate. It may be that it'll fall back a bit, but somewhere around that day. And in doing the road, quite clearly, we'll have to look at the scoreboard, because it's right next to the road, and there will be a need to perhaps go underneath the scoreboard. So the general view is that we would have to dismantle the scoreboard. And it's been demonstrated that I think the iron or steel stanchions that hold the scoreboard up are in a poor state, so they would need to be replaced. That's where my department's involvement ends, because we're not responsible for the scoreboard itself. Now it's then over to the Economic Development Department, who obviously are responsible for the sort of the infrastructure of the races and running the races. It'll be down to them to decide how they want to replace the scoreboard.
And they seem to have announced the alternative digital manual or what there is there.
So it's highly likely, I would imagine, knowing the level of feeling, that what will happen is the current scoreboard will be refurbished, brought up to a reasonable standard of repair, and then replaced. But there are other possibilities, and I always believe in ruling things out once I've had a chance to consider them, rather than ruling them out before I've even seen whether there's a case for it.
I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of TV eventually up there, and therefore electronic means will be available, as well as what's probably the old-fashioned way as well, maybe.
I mean, certainly there are, I could see some opportunities there, but if the general feel is that actually the scoreboard that's there has lasted as well for the last 100-odd years, then fine, we would stick with that. So.
It's strange how things are running now. These stories come quickly and fast on social media, and then other media picks up on it.
They do, and social media is fantastic, because it's really good for getting messages over, and it's great because you can get proper interaction with the public. People can be talking, sharing ideas and all the rest of it. The problem, though, seems to be that you can get situations where half a story comes along, and the next thing you know, we've ended up with me being the Minister for Demolition as opposed to the Minister for Infrastructure. And most of these issues will have some tiny shred of truth behind them, but highly unlikely that the rather scary picture is
moving you on, really, because there's so many things. I mean, with a bit of legs on this one, is about the parking on the prom, and the signs apparently are up and they're under bin bags. We've seen that in the local press. You're about to charge for parking on the prom.
On the promenade walkway, and that is...
Well, there's something...
There is a subtle difference.
Are you going to do the promenade at all, or is it only going to be this walkway for Christmas and those sort of things?
Well, what we're doing at the moment is looking at the refurbishment of the promenade. As part of that refurbishment, then clearly we have disruption. So phase 2, if it goes ahead as currently planned, will result in quite a lot of parking spaces left while the works are done. So the idea is to move the parking onto the promenade walkway like we do on a free basis at Christmas time. But what we know is that when we do that at Christmas time, we lose something like £25,000 out of the revenues from the paid car parks. Because naturally enough, if you can get a space in a free car park, you're going to go there rather than go to the free one. So the department, as you may know, is struggling a little bit with its budget at the moment. So the
$5 million you've got to find.
Yeah, so the thought of handing over 20 or 30 grand of free parking at some point is something where we would struggle with.
I think people can see that one, but let's talk about the prom itself. I mean, first of all, when's the work starting? Because I thought it should be underway. The horse tram's finished. I can't see anything happening. There's rumours now that it may not happen at all or be put back into the mix again for a rethink. Your comments?
Well, what we're doing is looking at the whole scheme. I'm a new minister. I'm driving my senior officers somewhat ragged at the moment because I keep asking them questions about the scheme because I want to know the answers.
So it's not starting?
Because I'm the one who has to defend whatever happens in the future. So I'm asking questions. I want to know the answers before we do certain things.
So it's not starting?
I can absolutely guarantee that it will be starting.
But it should have started by now.
It should have started by now, but because I'm asking some questions about it, it's not starting yet.
So it's not gone right back into the mix? I mean, you are going to move the horse tram?
No, I mean, there's a huge amount of work being done. Yeah. An awful lot of consultation has been done, and if we decide to tweak the scheme in some way, then I can guarantee, Paul, you'll be the first to know.
Okay, well, we've got more to talk about. Let's do it in our next section.